Decision making and branching constructs in C. Already we have started with different forms of if construct. Today we are discussing switch construct. First we shall see the general form of switch construct. So this is the general form of switch construct. And what are the keywords you are finding in this switch construct? These are the keywords. Okay, switch. So this is one of the keyword. Case is a keyword. Break is a keyword. Default. The minimum 4 keywords you are finding in switch construct. So these are the 4 keywords. Which are those? So switch, case, break, default. Okay. And what is the syntax of writing switch construct? We'll start with the keyword switch. Within common parenthesis, we are going to specify the expression. Okay. After that, opening and closing flower brace you are going to give, within which you are going to write list of cases. Okay. How actually are going to specify the cases? This is the syntax of writing each case within the switch construct. Case, which is a keyword. Space, you are going to give value 1. You'll put a colon. Then you'll specify the statements which you want to include within that particular case. Okay, block 1 is nothing but it may be single line statement or it may be 0 statements you are writing within a particular case. 0 or more statements you'll be writing within each case. So that is considered as here block 1. Followed by that, you are going to give a break statement. So similarly, the other cases, case space value 2 colon block 2 break, case space value 3 colon block 3 break, and so on. So it depends on your problem statement, how many cases you want to write within a switch construct. Depending on that, as your requirement, you will be writing the cases within the switch construct. And last case, what we are going to write is the default block. Default is again a keyword in C out of 32 keywords. Okay, we are going to write the keyword default. You'll put a colon and you'll specify the statement to be executed in the default block. Okay, so once this is what the syntax we are using for switch construct. And the next statement after the switch, I've just represented it as the statement X. Okay, so just and first understand the syntax used for writing the switch construct. Then we shall look into the working of switch construct. Okay, so switch, the syntax is keyword switch is used within common parenthesis will specify the expression. Then within open close and closing flower brace, we are going to specify the list of cases. How to write the list of cases? We'll use the keyword case space. We'll specify value colon the block. That means which contains the statements. It may be 0 or more statements. And usually we terminate each case with the statement break. Okay. So these are the that is the contents of switch construct. And what are the keywords you are using? It is switch, case, break, default. Okay. Now coming to what can be the expression. Okay, what should be the data type of the expression in the switch, and what can be this value 1, value 2, and value 3. Okay, so expression, coming to this expression, expression can be either a constant or a variable of integer data type or character data type. Okay, these are the only two possible data types you can have for the expression. So it can be a constant. Directly I can give switch 10 where 10 is a constant, or I can give switch num where num is a variable. Okay, you can consider the expression as a constant or a variable. Okay, but what should be the data type? It must be integer type or character data type. So in general, we call this as integral type. Integral means integer or character, so together we call it as integral type. So expression can be a variable or a constant of integral type. Okay, coming to the value 1, value 2, and value 3, and so on. This is called as case label. So followed by this keyword case, we are going to specify the label. Okay, but remember, label must be a constant. It cannot be a variable. Label must be always a constant of integer type or character data type. So these are the only two possible labels you can have for each of the case. It can be integer constant or a character constant. Or in general, we can say integral constant can be the labels for the switch constant. That is for each cases. Okay. Hope this is clear. Expression can be a constant or a variable of integral type. Labels, that is value 1, value 2, value 3, and so on, whatever you specify for each of the cases, that must be a constant of integer type or character data type. Okay. Now coming to the working of switch construct. So you are going to specify the expression within common parenthesis. this expression value will be matched with each of the case labels. Okay, so it starts with first case label. Expression value is compared with the value 1. If match occurs, then the control enters that particular case and it executes the statements whatever you have given within that case. And if break statement is encountered, so we are seeing in this syntax break statement. Break is one of the keyword in C. Once break statement is executed, what happens is, so the switch gets terminated. That means it is not the program termination I'm speaking. It is just the switch construct. So whichever case where the control enters into, once break statement is executed in that case, control gets transferred to the next statement outside the switch construct. Here assume we are in case first case and break statement is executed. As soon as the break statement is executed, control will come outside the switch. We can say it as termination of switch takes place and control will be transferred to the statement X. Okay, so if the first case label doesn't match with the expression value, then it goes for matching value 2 with the expression value. Okay, that is the second label with the expression value. If match doesn't occur, it goes for matching it with the next case label and so on. So this is how the switch construct will work. Case label is matched with the expression value. Wherever match occurs, control enters to that particular case. It executes all the statements in that case. Once break is encountered, it is going to terminate the switch. Control will come outside the switch construct. Okay, and it is no compulsion that you have to use the break statement at the end of each case. Again, it depends on your requirement, whether you want to execute only one case or you want to continue with the next case statement. Depending on that, you are going to specify the break statement. So if you miss the break statement, what happens is, once the control enters a particular case, if at the end you will not find a break statement, means control will immediately go to the next. It won't again go for comparing the case label with the expression value. Only once comparison takes place. As soon as the control enters a particular case, it executes the statements in that particular case. If break is not encountered, it goes to the immediate next case and it goes for executing the statements in that case. So this continues until either break is encountered, until all the statements within the switch are executed after the control has entered the switch construct, the particular case. Okay. So before to that case, the statements will not be executed. Wherever match has occurred and wherever the control has entered to that particular case, from that next statements will be executed till the end. Okay. This is how switch construct will work. So remember, break is one of the keyword used within a switch, can be used within a switch construct. What is the execution effect of break? It is going to terminate the switch construct. Control comes outside the switch to the next statement outside the switch construct once break is executed. Okay, this is one point you need to remember. So coming to the default block, in addition to this case space labels, these many cases, you are having a default block at the end, and it is no compulsion that you need to have the default block at the end. You can specify wherever you want the default block, maybe at the beginning of the switch or somewhere in between or at the end. So it is left to your implementation, but not for common convention we follow to write the default block is, usually we'll place this default block at the end of the switch construct. As the last statement, we'll be writing the default block. And when actually the control will enter this default block, so if none of the case label matches with this expression value, okay. So first it is comparing label 1 with expression value, match doesn't occur, it goes for comparing the next label with the expression value and so on. If none of the case label matches with the expression value, then it is the control will enter the default block and it executes the statement whatever you give within the default block. Okay, so this is how switch construct will work. So after execution of default block, control will go to the next statement. This is not looping construct, it is just decision making and branching construct, where first comparison takes place. Once match occurs, control will enter the particular case, it executes the statement. If break is encountered, it terminates the switch. Okay, if none of the case label matches, it is going to enter the default block. It executes whatever the statements you have given within the default block, and control comes outside the state, that is switch construct. If default block is provided at the end, control will come outside the default block, that is outside the switch construct. But if we are giving the default block somewhere in between, and if you are not providing break statement for the default block, then what happens is it goes to the next case and it executes all the statements in that case until break is encountered or until switch is terminated. Okay, this is what happens. Since here in the syntax, default is provided as the last statement, the default block, we have not given break at the end. Anyway, since this is the last statement, after execution of this, control will come outside the switch construct. So that's why break is not given. If you are giving the default block somewhere at the beginning or in between in the switch construct, then try to end this default block with break. If you don't want the control to enter to any other cases, then just give a break statement after the default block. Okay, so this is what you need to remember. And coming to some of the rules, I've made a slide on rules you need to consider for switch construct. So one of the rule is you cannot duplicate the case labels. So you cannot give, say, assume value case label is 1. You cannot write case space 1, case space 1. Two cases with same label is not possible in the switch construct. Okay, and default block, again you cannot duplicate, only one default block, and it is optional to have the default block. There is no compulsion that you need to specify the default block in the switch construct. So what happens is, if none of the case label matches with the expression value, and if you have not provided default block, you will not get any output. That's all. So just to handle that test case where expression value doesn't match with any of the case label, we are going to provide a default block. Okay, it is not mandatory to have the default block. Similarly, break statement is there. You know the execution effect of break statement. If it is not provided, then control will go to the immediate next case and it executes. So it is not mandatory to specify the break within the switch construct. So what is required, and if you are not providing the statements within a particular case, then they are unreachable code. So you need to see that the statements, whatever you write, should be within a particular case. Say for example, if I write within, after I open the flower base, if I write a printf statement here, which is not within any of the case, then it is unreachable code. That code will never be executed. Okay, so that's why carefully see that all the statements, whatever you write within the switch construct, they are within a particular case. Okay, so this is what you need to remember. And uh, this is the flowchart for switch construct. If you're using switch construct in your program, if they ask you to write the flowchart, this is what the flowchart you can use. See, since it's decision making, comparison operation is taking place between the case label and the expression value. You can use rhombus symbol. And here, if expression value matches with value 1, control will enter block 1 and control will go to the statement X, assuming that in the block 1 break statement is there. With that assumption, generally after each case we'll write break statement at the end. Okay, with that assumption, this is what the flowchart we have written. If break is not there, then obviously it will go to the next block statements, it executes, it goes to the next block, and so on till the end of the switch, right? So in almost all programs, we'll terminate that is each case with break statement. But again, as I told, it depends on the problem statement you are considering. So if you want to execute rest of the cases also, then you'll not give break at the end of that particular case. Okay, that such examples we'll see where break we will not be using. Okay. See, if expression value matches with the value 2, that is label 2, then control will enter block 2 and it goes to the next statement. Since break is encountered, it terminates the switch. Control will come outside the switch construct. If expression value matches with value 3, it executes block 3 and break statement will bring the control outside the switch construct. So remember, exit function, it is a built-in function or library function whose prototype you find in stdlib.h. Once exit function is executed, it is going to terminate the program. Okay, return 0, return is a keyword. Once return is executed, it will terminate the program, returns the control to the operating system, and status with status code 0. So here break, it is a statement which is going to terminate the switch. It is not the program that gets terminated. Program still will be in the execution state. Okay, but only the control will come outside the switch construct. So this is what you need to remember. Hope this is clear. Same thing I've explained here. And else if ladder construct, what we have discussed, that we can implement using switch construct also. Else if ladder and switch construct, these are multi-way decision making statements, you can say, that are supported in C. These are the keywords: switch, case, break, default in the switch construct which you have encountered. The switch statement, this is the working explained in this point. Switch statement compares the value of the expression with each of the case values or case labels. When match is found, a block of statements associated with that case is executed. And the expression, it can be integer expression or character expression, which is constant or a variable. So value 1, value 2, where we call them as case labels, which are constants or constant expressions. It cannot be variable, it can be constant, or you can write constant expression also. Say 2 plus 3. So 2 plus 3 will result in 5. 5 is an integer constant. So some such constant expressions you can give as case labels. Okay. Each case label is unique within the switch statement. You cannot duplicate the case labels. Case label ends with colon. You know, case is a keyword you are using. Space will give the label. You'll put a colon. Then you will write the statement which you want to execute within that particular case. So block 1, block 2, etc. They are set of statements and they may contain 0 or more statements. Break, it is the statement which is given at the end of each block, which indicates end of the particular case. So once break is executed, it exits from the switch and control is transferred to the next statement outside the switch construct. The default is optional case. If the default block is present, what happens? It will be executed only if none of the case label matches with the expression value. If it is not present, no action takes place. If all the match fails and the control is transferred to the statement X. Okay. Coming to one example on switch construct, we have declared a variable named choice of integer data type. We are prompting the user to enter choice. We are reading the choice, and we are now writing the switch construct, which is the keyword within common parenthesis. See, we have given a variable which is of integer type. Just observe expression here I have considered in this example of integer type. Now these are the cases I have written. Case 1, I am printing case 1 and break is encountered here. Break is written. Case 2, case, and finally default block. Close the switch construct. I have given return 0 and close the program. So now we'll see if this program is executed. Assume the choice entered is 2. First, the message that gets printed on to the screen is enter your choice. If the user enters the choice as 2, then what happens? So the choice value is 2. It compares or it matches case 1, that is label 1 with choice value. Match doesn't occur. It goes for comparing the second case whose label is 2. 2 is compared with choice value 2. So since match occurs, control will enter that particular case. And what is the statement we are having in that case? So we are having the two statements within this case 2, that is printf statement and break statement. Once printf is executed, case 2, this message gets printed onto the screen. Okay, case 2 gets printed. Then break is encountered. Since break is encountered, what happens? Control will come outside the switch construct, where return 0 statement is executed, which terminates the program. Okay. So if it were to be choice 1, in that case, what will be the output? If choice is 1, since first label itself is matching with the choice value, it enters case 1 and it prints the message case 1. Since break is encountered after that, it terminates the switch. Okay, and after the control comes outside the switch, we are having return 0 statement. Once it is executed, it is going to terminate the program. Coming to choice value as 10. If with this value, once the switch construct is executed, what happens? Label 1 is compared with choice value, which is 10. Match doesn't occur. Again, mismatch occurs for case 2. And there are only two cases we have given. Since none of the case label matches with that choice value, control will enter into the default block where it executes the printf statement what you have given. The output will be default case and control comes outside the switch construct. So this is the output you are going to get if you give choice value as 10. Assume I have given the choice value as say 1. This is the choice value, and if you see break statement is not given. What will be the output? Once the switch is executed, what will be the output if I have not given break statement within the first case? Can anyone tell the output for this program where break is not written in case 1?
Ma'am,
Case
both
one, case two.
case one and
Case 1 and case 2 too.
default will be
Case one
printed.
and case two, ma'am.
Case 1, and will it go for default?
Yes, ma'am.
Just see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Case
ma'am.
one,
How
case
can
two,
it
Case
go
one
to
default.
and default,
default?
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
How can it go to
Ma'am,
default?
case one and case two
Case
will
1
be
and
printed.
case
No,
2,
ma'am.
Case 1
ma'am.
and case 2, ma'am.
Case
Case
one
1
and
and
case two will be
case
Just
printed,
2.
case
then
one
break.
and case two, ma'am.
Okay, what is the purpose of break statement? You know, break, once it is executed, it terminates the switch. In case 1, we have not given break. So, first what happens is, whatever the choice value we have given, it is 1. So, 1 is matching with first case label. So, control will enter case 1. Getting? So, once it enters the case 1, they are having a printf statement. So, it prints the output as case 1. After that, break is not encountered. So, it goes to the immediate next case. Immediate next case is case 2. Again, we are having a printf statement which prints case 2 as the output. After printing case 2, just observe the next statement. It is break. So once break is encountered, it terminates the switch. Control will come outside the switch construct where return 0 is executed. So if you skip break in first case, then what will be the output for choice value as 1? It is case 1, case 2. If I remove break in second case also and choice value is 1, then what will be the output? Break is removed.
Case one,
What will
case two,
be?
default case.
Yes, case 1, case 2, default case. This will be the output. Hope it is clear. Hope you have understood how switch works. Okay, if break is there,
Yes, ma'am.
once
Yes, ma'am.
executed, it will terminate. If break is if it is not given, once the match occurs to with any of the case label, control will enter that case. It executes the statement. If break is not there, it will go to the immediate next cases and it keeps on executing till the end of the switch. Once break is encountered, it will terminate. If you have not given break at all for any of the cases, it executes all the cases from the point where the control has entered to that particular case. From that point, it will not go to the previous cases and it will execute. That doesn't happen. So from the point wherever the match has occurred and wherever the control has entered to that case, from that point, it keeps on executing the statements, including break statement. Including default statement. Okay, default block actually it is supposed to get executed if none of the case label matches with the choice value. How we are controlling that? You need to give a break statement. If you miss giving break statement, what happens is control will go to the immediate next case and it executes all the statements in that case, so, including default block also. So this is how switch construct will work. Okay, have you all followed the working of switch construct? It is simple, right? Yes or no? Is it not
Yes, ma'am.
simple?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. We'll
Yes, ma'am.
first discuss the rules. So these are the rules with respect to switch construct which you have to remember. The switch expression must be an integral type. Integral type means integer or character data type. Expression, and one more point is it can be a constant expression or a variable. Remember that. So case labels must be constants or constant expressions only. You cannot give them as variables. Case labels must be unique. That is, no two labels can have the same value. As I gave the example of case 1, duplicated case labels cannot appear within a switch construct. Case labels must end with colon. You know the syntax of switch construct we have already discussed. So switch keyword we are using within parentheses, you specify the expression and you'll open and close the flower base to indicate the block of the switch construct, and we'll write series of cases. What is the syntax of writing each case? You'll use the keyword case, space, you'll specify the label, followed by label, you're going to give a colon, then you are going to write the statements which are to be executed in that particular case. If you want to terminate the switch after execution of a particular case, you need to give at the end the break statement. This is what the syntax you need to remember. The break statement transfers the control out of the switch statement if it is executed. The break statement is not compulsory, it is optional in the switch construct. See, remember, one of the application of break or where actually we can use break, it is in switch construct. So there is one more construct in which you can use a break statement that we'll be discussing in later classes. Okay. So the default label, it is again optional in the switch construct. If it is present, it will be executed when the expression value doesn't match with any of the case labels. So this is one more point you need to remember. And there can be at most one default block. At most means it may be 0 or 1 default block. It cannot be more than that. So default block cannot be duplicated, and there should, if default block exists, it should be only one default block. It may in the switch construct there may be default block. It is one, and if it is not present, that is also fine. It is not mandatory to write the default block. So the default block may be placed anywhere within the switch construct, but usually we place it at the end. Okay, just to improve the readability of your switch construct, we'll be placing at the end. Even though you place the default block at the beginning, it is not that first default block gets executed. You know the working of switch construct. It keeps on comparing case labels with the expression value. If none of the case label matches with the expression value, then only default block will be executed. Okay. It is permitted to nest switch construct. So you know the nesting, we have discussed nesting concept with respect to if construct. So if within a if, it is called as nested if construct. Similarly, you can write switch within a switch construct. So you are having a switch construct. Within a particular case, again I can go for writing another switch construct. So nesting of switch is allowed in C. Okay. So this is one more point you need to remember. And in each case, you can write any statements. It is not that just a printf statement and break statement you have to write. Whatever the statement you want. Say, for example, you want to write some conditional construct within a particular case, or you want to write some repetitive process, some looping constructs you want to make use in a particular case. So it's left to your implementation. Whatever the construct you want to write for your logic implementation. So all those statements you can write in each block in each of the cases. Okay. Hope we have understood all these rules. This is what you need to remember with respect to switch construct. So this completes switch construct. We have discussed the syntax of switch construct, the flowchart of switch construct, the keywords that are used in the switch construct, and working of switch construct we have discussed, and the rules which are to be considered whenever you are dealing with switch construct, and an example program we have seen. With this knowledge, we can go for discussing the second, that is 2A program of your lab syllabus, that is to simulate a simple calculator using switch construct. So you need to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division operation using switch construct. Okay, first we'll see the implementation using switch construct, how to modify the program to implement the same problem statement using else if ladder construct. We'll see. You know, else if ladder construct and switch construct both are multi-way decision making or multi-way branching construct supported in C. How actually we can implement using else if ladder, that also we'll see with that example program. And remember, we already covered 1A of your lab syllabus, that is to find the roots of quadratic equation, and explicitly it is given in the question you have to use else if ladder construct only. And now what we are discussing is 2A program of your lab syllabus. I told totally 7 programs are there, 7 main questions. In each question, 2 sub questions are there. Okay. So 1A, it is on else if ladder construct to find the roots of quadratic equation. 2A, if you just go through the syllabus, whatever I have shared, lab syllabus, the 2A of your lab syllabus program, it is to simulate a simple calculator using switch construct only. Okay, if in theory, if they ask you the same question without specifying what construct to be used, it is left to your implementation. You can either go for else if ladder construct or switch construct. So it improves the readability of your program if you're going for switch construct rather than else if ladder construct. That's all. Okay. So let me just start implementing that problem statement. So if you want, you can read the comment. So let me write the comment as, see, this is lab program 2A, lab program 2A, and it is to simulate a simple calculator. I'll close the comment. I've used multi-line comment here, but I've written a single line statement. If you want it as a if you want to use a single line comment, that is also fine. It's left to you again. Okay, and I've included the header file stdio.h. I've given main function. So now I'll declare. I'll go for declaring the variables. Since we are performing simulation of simple calculator, and if we also need to perform division operation, So remember, whenever you are performing operation on integer data, okay, so division where both numerator and denominator, the operands are of integer type, then the result of division will be integer. So assume if the numerator is smaller than the denominator, then in that case, since integer is a whole number, it cannot store any fractional value. The fractional part will be truncated when you perform division operation in the case where numerator is smaller than the denominator. You'll get the value as 0. So since 0 point something will get, so since it is the integer operation you will perform, the fractional part will be truncated. So what you have to do is, so you have to do express conversion of integer data to floating point. Since we have not yet discussed that concept, so here we shall declare the variable as floating point type, so that result of operation will be float. So and it can hold fractional part also. So for that with that intention, we are declaring the operands on which you are performing the arithmetic operations as floating point data type. Okay, so let me take the variables as say n1 comma n2. So this is what we have taken, and let us take the operator as of character data type. Just see what are the variables we have declared. N1, N2 are the two input operands which are of floating point type. On these two operands, we are going to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division operation based on the user's choice. Okay. If the operator user enters as plus, will perform addition operation on these two operands. If it is minus, subtraction operation is performed, and so on. Depending on what operator user enters, on that we'll be performing the operation. Okay, so this is how we are going to simulate a simple calculator. You might have used the calculator. How actually we are providing the input? We'll specify operand 1. First number will press, then we'll press the operator, and followed by that we'll press the second operand. Finally you are going to get the result in the same lines. So for in this program also, we'll give in sequence operand 1, operator, and operand 2. This is the order in which I want to read the input. So in the scanf statement, you need to write percentage f, percentage c, percentage f, so that in that order we are reading the input. Okay, so these are the variables we require for this program implementation. Two input operands which are of floating point type, and one more input operand which is of character type. I have named it as OP, indicating operator, to hold the operator that is entered during execution time. Okay, so now we shall go for prompting the user to enter the operand, that is the input. So let me give the message as enter a valid arithmetic expression. This is the message I can give. A valid arithmetic expression user has to enter, and if you want to specify in which format it has to be entered, so this is the format. Say for example 2 plus 3. So this is how you need to enter the expression. So you can show, so that it improves the readability and user will come to know in which order the operands are to be specified. So if you are going to give the message like this, enter a valid arithmetic expression is the message printed along with this example. So 2 plus 3. This is the example given where user has to give first the operand, the first operand, then the operator, then the second operand. Okay, and you can put a colon, or if you want to bring the cursor to the new line, that can be done, and put semicolon. Now go for reading. Scanf percentage f, percentage c, percentage f. These are the three values we are reading during execution time. Address of n1 comma address of operator comma address of n2. You know how to write this scanf function. Now this is done. Now the input is read. Now I need to write the switch construct. I'll go for switch. This is the keyword. Within the parenthesis, common parenthesis, I need to specify the expression. So here I have taken the expression as character data type. Just observe, in the previous example, we had taken the expression as integer data type variable. Here in this application, we have taken the expression as character data type. Okay, it is a variable. Expression can be either a variable or a constant of integer or character data type. Remember that. So case, and since operator is a character data type, how you know how to represent a character constant, right? You need to enclose it within single quote, a character constant. Remember. So if it were to be plus, plus is a character constant. I need to enclose it within single quote. I'll write the keyword case, give space, and within single quote give plus. Okay, So now what is the operation? If the operator encountered what to be plus, in that case we need to perform addition operation. You know the expression to perform addition operation. It is n1 plus n2. Within printf, we shall perform that addition operation. Simple. So what we'll do is we'll print the output in this format: percentage f plus percentage f equals percentage f. Okay, close the double quote, put comma, and now specify n1 comma n2 comma n1 plus n2. After this, I don't want to transfer the control to the next case. So what I'll do, I'll give a break statement. I think repeat the same for rest cases. I'll copy this and I'll paste it. So how many cases I need to handle for my subtraction, multiplication, and division? So they totally these 4 cases. I need to have a default block at the end. So I'll just modify the same code. So case minus. If it were to be minus operator encountered, then I need to perform subtraction operation. So minus, this is the string I'm going to print onto the screen. In this format, I'm printing the output. First operand minus second operand, equal sign is printed. Whatever the result computed, that will be printed after equal sign. You know this syntax. Already we have discussed so many printf statements. We have designed so many printf statements, right? So n1 comma n2 comma n1 minus n2 you have to write. So similarly, case star. Multiplication, if the star operator is encountered, you need to perform the multiplication between the two input operands. In the string also, we'll change it to star. And then here in the expression in the variable list, we'll change it to star. Just see how we have written first 3 cases. Case space plus, write a printf statement to perform addition operation, to print the result in this format, as well as to compute that is addition operation. Similarly, minus star. So next is slash, front slash, for it is a division operator. And one more point is, if it were to be division in the question they have specified, you need to validate the input. That means you cannot divide the operand by 0. Division by 0 is not supported. If you try attempting dividing by 0, you'll get a runtime error. During execution time, error occurs. So since division by 0 is not possible, so we shall handle that case through our code. If you are not handling through your code, then runtime error takes place. So we shall handle that case, that error case in this particular that is division case. If we'll test n2, that's the second operand, if it were to be equal to 0. We are using conditional construct. If n2 is equal to 0, then what will print us? Printf, okay, will print the message division by 0. Error, we'll just print a message error divide by 0. We are attempting to divide by 0. Else, if it is not equal to 0, then we can perform division. So denominator should not be 0 whenever you are performing division operation. Since we are performing n1 by n2, we are testing n2 value with 0. If n2 is equal to 0, we'll print error message divide by 0 error. Otherwise, we'll perform the division operation. So percentage f slash percentage f equals percentage f comma n1 comma n2 comma n1 divided by n2. This is what the operation will specify. Then at the end, you'll give the break statement. Okay. So since we want to terminate the switch after execution of this division operation. Finally, if none of the case label matches, only these the operations we are performing to simulate the simple calculator. We don't want any other operations to be performed. If user enters any other operator, control has to enter the default block. So what will print in this default block? Invalid operator. Some error message we shall print stating say invalid operator. So these are the operators valid for our example. So that's for this application, that is plus, minus, star, slash. If user enters modulus or any other operator, we'll just print invalid operator and we close the switch. Okay, then close switch and close the main function. Before that, you give return 0. Just see how I have indented. Try to indent your code like this so that it improves the readability. Just observe how simple this program is. Yes.
Ma'am, in scanf statement, it is %f, %c,
Yeah,
no,
percentage F. Yeah, I told orally, but here I have committed mistake. It is percentage F. I told it, but when typing, I have committed mistake. Yes, it is correct. Okay, percentage f, percentage c, percentage f. Since of n1, n2, I have declared it as floating point data type. It must the format specifier I have to use is percentage f. Op, which is operator variable, it is going to since it is declared as character data type, I need to use the format specifier percentage c. Correct. Just observe how simple the program is. We have declared these variables, two of floating point type, one of character data type. We have displayed the message, output message, enter a valid arithmetic expression. Then we are reading the input in this order: operand 1, operator, operand 2. Then here we have implemented the switch construct. See, switch is the keyword. Within parentheses we have specified operator, and opening and closing flower base we have given, and the cases we have defined. The last case is default row. So if the user enters plus, what happens is control enters first case. It prints, I assume 2 and 3 are the input I have given. It prints the output as 2 plus 3 equals 5, and it terminates. We shall execute and check. Okay, let us execute. Okay. So enter a valid arithmetic expression. The template is given. Don't give space. Space is also a character. Remember, space is also character in C. Whenever you are giving the input, don't give any space. So I can give the input like this: 2, without space I'll give plus, then without space I'll give 3, then I'll press enter. So if I give that input, see what is the output we are getting. Since it is floating point data type we have used, up to 6 precision digits it displays. After decimal point, up to 6 precision digits it displays. Just see 6 zeros are displayed. In there is a real notation you will find here. 2 point up to 6 digits it displays after decimal point. 2.0 plus 3.0 equals 5.0. This is the output you'll get. If I want to perform say multiplication operation, I'll just give 5 star say 6. So what is the output you'll get? 5 into 6 equals 30. So how actually this has worked? First, if I the star operator I have given as input. So plus is compared with star, match doesn't occur. Minus is compared with star, match doesn't occur. Star is compared with star. At this point, match has occurred. So control will enter this case where star is given as label, and it has executed that printf statement. And since break is given, control comes outside the switch construct. Followed. Let us check for invalid operator. Let me give 2. Say modulus 3 I'll give. Modulus symbol is not given. We have not handled that in our case. That's why since none of the case label is matching with the expression value, control has entered the default block and it has printed invalid operator. Okay. And one more, divide by 0. We shall try to attempt performing division by 0. I'll give say 2 divided by 0. So what is the error you are getting? Error divide by 0. So since it is division operator we have given, control will go to this case where the label is division operator, and it is comparing n2. N2 value I have given it as 0. Since n2 is equal to 0, control enters this true block in the if, and it prints the error message, error divide by 0. See? After that, where the control will go, since it is if else construct, after control enters the true block, control has transferred to the break statement. Once break is executed, it has terminated the switch. Okay. The one with numerator smaller than denominator, we shall try giving. Since it is floating point data type, it can store fractional value also. If I give 5 divided by 10, just see what is the output you are getting. Say 5 by 10 equals 0.5. Fractional part also it is able to store since it is real data type. If you had declared the operands as integer data type, you would have got the result as 0. If the numerator is smaller than the denominator, quotient will be 0. Okay, division operator will return the quotient after division. So that's why since we want the fractional part also to be stored, we have declared the operands as floating point type and we have performed the operation. Have you all understood? Simulation of a simple calculator to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication and division operation. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.